All right, let's talk about generative AI. It can feel like this big, complicated black box, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to give you the blueprint. We are going to build a super clear mental model of the entire Gen AI stack, giving you that strategic overview you need to lead effectively and, ace your certification.
So, how are we going to make sense of all this? Easy. We're going to think about it like we're building a house. But here's the twist. We're not starting with the messy foundation. Nope. We're starting at the very top, in the finished rooms where people actually live and work. Then, we'll peel back each layer to see what's holding it all up.
So our tour starts at the tippy top of the house with the AI agent. This is the part everybody sees, the application, the user interface. It's the room your customers and your employees are actually going to use. You can think of it as the face of your entire AI initiative. And just like any house, this one has different rooms for different purposes. And these are your specialized AI agents. So you might have a customer service agent in the living room chatting with your clients, and maybe a security agent down in the basement analyzing threats.
Okay, this is super important to get. An agent is way more than just a chatbot. It is a goal-oriented system. It's actively looking at its environment, and then it takes action to get something done. It's a doer, not just a talker.
So how does an agent actually, think? Well, take a look at this. It's not just a one-and-done calculation. It's a continuous, reasoning loop, a cycle where the agent is constantly observing, thinking, and then acting. And this loop breaks down into 4 really critical steps, and every leader needs to know these. First, it observes the world. Second, it interprets what it's seeing. Third, it plans its next move. And finally, it acts using its tools. Observe, interpret, plan, act. That is the core of every single agent.
So, when it comes down to it, you're going to run into 2 main types of agents. On one side, you've got your conversational agents. These are the masters of understanding what people actually mean. And on the other side, you've got workflow agents, which are just powerhouses of automation built to handle all the complex stuff behind the scenes.
So we have our rooms, the agents, but where do we actually build them? Well, that brings us down to the next layer, the platform. This is our workshop. It's the place where we design, build, and assemble the whole shebang. And this is exactly where a unified platform like Google's Vertex AI becomes so incredibly valuable. See, instead of trying to source tools from a dozen different places, it gives you the entire workshop in one box. You get the infrastructure, the tools, even the pre-trained models. It just takes you from a rough idea to a secure, enterprise-ready application much, much faster.
Okay, now we get to the really fun part, the core intelligence. This is the model layer. Let's just call it the brain of the entire system. This is where all the learning, the reasoning, and the content creation actually happens. And this brings us to one of the most critical fork-in-the-road decisions you will make as a leader. Do you adopt an existing, pre-trained model, a powerful brain that's pretty much ready to go? Or do you invest the huge amount of time, money, and expertise it takes to build a custom one from the ground up?
For most people, honestly, adopting a model is the smartest path. A resource like the Model Garden is kind of like a library of pre-built brains. You can pick first-party models like Gemini, or you can go with flexible open-source options, or even specialized third-party models from trusted partners. But what if you really need a truly custom brain? Well, you've got 2 main paths. For expert teams who want total granular control, there's custom training using frameworks like TensorFlow. But for teams that don't have that deep expertise, there's AutoML. It basically automates a ton of the complex work, letting you build custom models through a much simpler, guided process.
All right, let's make this real. Pop quiz time. This is a classic scenario. You're running a small e-commerce shop. You need to translate stuff instantly, but you have a limited budget and no data scientist on staff. Look at the constraints. What's the strategic move here? Adopt or build?
The answer here, it's a no-brainer. You adopt, don't build. A pre-trained translation API from the Model Garden is the perfect fit. It is a ready-to-use tool that solves your problem immediately, without the massive headache and cost of trying to build a custom translation model.
Okay, we've made it. We're digging all the way down to the bedrock of our entire AI house. This is the infrastructure, the raw computational power that makes everything else even possible. It's what lets the models think and the agents act.
And this is exactly why your standard company servers just won't cut it. I love this analogy. Think of Gen AI not as a car, but as a fleet of heavy trucks.
You can't run that on a little dirt road. You need a reinforced superhighway of specialized infrastructure, or the whole thing is just going to crumble.
For any leader, this is a huge takeaway. Your AI infrastructure rests on 3 pillars. First, compute. That means specialized chips like GPUs and TPUs. Second, storage. Massive, super-fast systems to feed these data-hungry models. And third, networking. Ultra-fast connections so all those chips can work together like one giant brain.
But here's the thing. That infrastructure doesn't always have to live in the cloud. Sometimes you need it right there, in the user's hand. That's edge computing. By running the AI model directly on the device itself, you get incredible speed, way better privacy, and it can work when you're offline.
So before you start pouring any concrete or putting up walls, you need a blueprint. As a leader, your absolute first job is to step back and do a strategic assessment of what your project actually needs.
And getting this blueprint right is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to answer these questions right up front. How many users are we talking about? How specialized is this task? How sensitive is the data? Your answers are going to dictate every single decision you make, from the foundation all the way up to the agent you build.
And there you have it, the full generative AI stack, from that user-facing agent all the way down to the raw infrastructure that powers it all. You now have the complete blueprint to navigate this landscape. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with it?